Okay, dann kommen wir jetzt zu Punkt 7.
So this brings us to point 7. The rapporteur is Judith Bunting, concerning the strategic innovation agenda of the European Innovation and Technology Institute to encourage innovation talent and European innovative capacity. Let me give Ms. Bunting the floor.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you also for your welcoming remarks and good wishes in the face of Brexit. It is a truly horrible thing. I have asked around various colleagues in CULT and in my own delegation, and many MEPs do not know much about EIT, so I am going to indulge and take a couple of minutes to talk about the institution before I talk about the legislation. First of all, in 2019, last July, the Commission presented a new legislative package, which includes a recast, which Christian Ehler will report on in a moment, and the innovation agenda, which is my responsibility. This package sets out the agenda and the budget for the next 7 years. And we, as a committee, give the EIT, the Parliament gives the EIT, €3 billion to work with. We also, within this legislation, have a wonderful regional investment scheme, which will help spread the benefits across all of Europe so that our newer member states can get the benefits as well. And I support that, my amendments support that. And I've also inserted a few amendments to guarantee some gender balance and gender mainstreaming, which, as we all know, is pretty critical at the moment. These euros are spent to support education, to support research, and to support business. And this is what makes the EIT so interesting, that it is not a pure academic institution. It is an institution designed and with the express intention of promoting sustainable growth across the EU, and this is commercial growth. So the idea is that if we can encourage innovation, and if we can get the climate right for good technical innovation, if we have the education that supports that, and if we have the business leaders who know how to then commercialise new ideas and new services, then we can create jobs. We can create, from jobs you get taxes, from successful businesses you get taxes, and so we get services, and we have a sustainable economy. The EIT has done some excellent work. MEPs should know what the EIT is doing in our areas, for our businesses, for our education, and for the European sustainable growth. The institution is not set out like a normal university. There is no big central campus where all the research happens and all the education takes place. There is a network, a web of different institutions and businesses who collaborate. And this is how they manage to spread across all of Europe. So, the EIT at the moment covers 8 areas. I think of them as departments, but they are called Knowledge Innovation Communities, which is KRCs or KICs, that's the Eurospeak for them. And they cover areas where the Commission and MEPs in the past have considered there were potential societal problems. So they focus on health, on climate, on digital, on food, on manufacturing. Please go to the website and look them up. They bring together higher education institutes, research bodies and businesses, private businesses, large and small, and these work in this fabulous knowledge triangle, which is the underpinning of the EIT. So there is a big call for further transparency within the operation of the EIT and all of the KICs. And this is because there's a feeling that those who are already invested just are keeping the prize to themselves. And we need more transparency about how contracts are awarded. And we need to make it clear that small and medium-sized enterprises are welcome. And there are some ideas in there which I'm proposing after discussion with the director of the EIT. And these will help promote the involvement of SMEs and make it practical and affordable for small companies to join in. The innovation agenda is a short document, but it includes an annex of 27 pages, which is excellent. And one of the things that I have tried to do is to bring a degree of the annex, the detail, the information from the annex, into the legislation. These amendments concern the general and specific objectives of the EIT, the priorities for the knowledge and innovation communities across all 8 areas. The launch of a new KIC, which, you'll love this, is in the cultural and creative industries. I will come back to that. The budget and cooperation with other programmes. The EIT is funded by Horizon, and within that we have the EIC, we have innovation funding. There are many breakdowns of Horizon Europe and Horizon 2020 as was, and the EIT cooperates with all of these. Within the legislation and the annex as it stood, there is a lot of discussion of entrepreneurial education, and this is very good and very necessary. One of the reasons there's so much of it, though, is because there was an audit a few years ago that said there wasn't enough within the EIT. And as ever happens in these situations, I think the Commission has gone slightly too far. The pendulum has swung slightly too far in the business direction. I do not want to remove any of those intentions, but I did want to put back science and technical education. If you don't have technical education and good technical ideas, then you have no business to develop. Even if you're looking at services, which is where the climate kick focuses, you need scientific understanding. My amendments also concern ambition. You cannot take over the world if you're not ambitious. And I'm speaking lightly there, but I've already attended one briefing from the research service that has said that we are so far behind in Europe on energy storage that we might as well pack up and go home. China has the lead there. We should be focusing our energies elsewhere. We don't want this advice to come to us for any other area of commercial and scientific development, so we need ambition, and you will find a layer of ambition through my amendments. I mentioned earlier that none of us have heard of EIT, or very few of us, so I'm supporting their marketing and communications budget. Finally, we have the new proposed KIC, which supports and will be driven by the creative industries. We know these are big employers. We know there are brilliant ideas out there in Europe at the moment. And this is an area where I think Europe, we as the cultural industries, can bring benefit to the European Union. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have my opinion in front of you. I hope you feel you can support my amendments. The deadline is the 27th, you say? So I look forward to hearing any questions that you may have, and thank you for listening.